Hello there. I hope you're doing great, enjoying your Friday morning. It's another spectacularly beautiful Friday morning here in paradise. Uh, Warm, sunny, blue skies. It's beautiful. You might hear a tiny bit of hammering. Today we are replacing a palm thatch roof on a rancho, a thatch covered structure next to the pool, which is very close to where I'm sitting. The building is only 10 meters from here. So there's a wall between here and there, but you might hear some of that. So glad you're here. I hope you've had a great week. There's not so much big news to share today, but there are some important things I think we need to talk about. So I'm going to talk about some of those things. We're still going to start off with a super chat, and I can't see the screen with that angle, unfortunately. I like that angle, but I can't see the screen so well there. This is Those Love Songs is the name, and it's a $15 US dollar donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. The comment is, your videos have been stock full of great information. I hope that one day I'll be able to make it to Costa Rica to fast. This is actually, thank you so much. First of all, I really appreciate that. And I want to say that, I mean, it's a great comment. It serves me to share something that I think is really important with you. I'm going to change my angle just a little bit. I think it's really important. Those Love Songs is saying, I hope that one day I'll be able to make it to Costa Rica to fast. So I don't think I know who this person is. I don't know. I mean, maybe I know, but have forgotten. Those Love Songs, I'm guessing, was not your given name. This is your YouTube handle. So I don't know what your real name is. Maybe I know you, maybe I don't. It doesn't matter, except that I don't know your circumstances. So I understand, one of the beautiful things about this format is that we've got people here sometimes from all over the world. I mean, we've had as many as 185, close to 200 people at one time. Chances are good that those people are, because people tell me where they're listening in from sometimes. And I know that we've got people watching from all over the world. It's entirely possible we have people that are here right now for whom the $3,700 to $5,000 that it costs to spend 4 to 6 weeks here, roughly. I don't remember the exact rates, to be honest. We have people for whom that's a lot of money, and it's not easy to do. Having said that, I completely believe that you and I, each of us, is creating our reality all the time. Okay? So Those Love Songs says, I hope I can make it one day. And I would say to you, stop hoping. Okay? You can create anything you choose to. All right. Now, again, I don't know if this may sound like a ton of money to you, and I understand that. And I what can I say? I wish we could someday. I mean, I have a plan to make it possible for anyone to come. And what will happen is, down the road, once the project, with the big project that you've heard me talk about, and maybe we'll talk about some more today, once that project is up and running and everything's good, because right now we need to focus on raising money for that. Once that's done, we're going to create a nonprofit around what we do here. And the idea will be to raise money for people whose economic circumstances make it really, really challenging for them to get here. Okay, so we can help people. You'd have to apply for scholarship, and this could be years before this is possible. It's not. Right now, it can't be my focus because there's just too much else going on. But at some point, this is something we can probably do. Okay, we can make this possible. Now, in the meantime, let me share something that we've had people here. Our clients have come from something around 130 plus countries so far. And I don't think there are 130 countries in the world that are wealthy countries. There's the US and Canada, and then there's a lot of countries in Europe that are wealthy countries, and there's Australia and New Zealand, but there's a lot of countries in Asia and Africa and even here in the Americas, in Central and South America, that aren't so well off. And yet we have people coming from these places all the time. And so those love songs and everybody else who this may apply to, let me encourage you, okay? First of all, get completely clear about what it is that you're committed to creating for yourself, okay? And forget about what you think is impossible or you think is out of reach or you think is too difficult. Forget about that. Just get clear about, start with maybe what it is you want. What would you really like to have if you could have anything you wanted? If you could create your life exactly as you'd like it to be, what would that look like? Okay. And then get clear. Are you committed to that or not? And if you're committed to it, what that means is you find a way to make it happen. And I know that you can create anything because we've had people who've come here who've had to do, in some cases, extraordinary things. We've had 3 people that I know of who've sold their home to be able to afford to come here. Now, some people think, why would someone sell their home? Because they understand that their health is more important than their house. Okay, your home is wherever you choose it to be. And if you, I've lost my house twice, okay, and I've gotten back on my feet. And that's what successful people do, resilient people. It doesn't matter what happens. If you look at the stories, if you go read biographies or autobiographies of some of the most successful, compelling, interesting people, they're often people who've lost everything more than once, but they're resilient. Okay, when I had people, lawyers in Panama, steal everything from me, basically, defraud me out of everything, and bribe a judge, right? Refuse to sign a contract, and then that they had a legal obligation to sign, making a place mine, and then bribe a judge to rule in their favor, and I lost everything I owned in that. Some of you already know the story. I'm not going to spend more time with it than necessary, but the point is, I was able to get back on my feet because you can take my stuff away from me, but you can't take my knowledge, my experience, my passion, and my willingness to go out there and do what I'm here to do. Okay, as long as I've got a computer, a telephone, anything, I will be sharing what I believe is true in an effort to help as many people as possible. And I get attacked every day about our rates and it's all about money. It's not. It's this is probably, most of these people doing this are like 25-year-olds who have no idea what it actually costs to run a business, right? It doesn't bother me. I'm just telling you because you can create anything, and it doesn't matter what other people say. Our prices are what they are because this is actually what it costs to run this place. Okay, it's not like we're making piles of cash here. We're not. It's expensive to run this facility. Okay, with acreage and gardens and orchards, which we have to maintain, with lots of rooms and lots of building spaces, which we have to maintain. Okay, it's expensive. There's taxes and insurance, and there's a lot of costs that people don't even think about. So the rates are where they are, and I know it may be difficult, but the much more important point here is to never let anything stop you from creating whatever you choose to create. You get clear what it is, and then you go out there and you make it happen. And when it's been said, when there's a strong enough why, we'll figure out how. Okay? If you have a strong enough why, the people who've come here that have done amazing things to get here, that's because they wanted their health back. And virtually every one of them got their health back. I don't think any one of them would say, oh, it was a bad thing. I wish I hadn't done that. No, they're like, yeah, I sold my house, I sold my car, whatever it was. People use crowdfunding. They borrow money. They hold garage sales. They've held benefit concerts or performances. Maybe they've enlisted friends or musicians or artists. There's lots of ways. Get creative, whether it's about coming here or it's about doing something else. Don't let your current lack of resources stop you, right? Some of you have heard this before, but after losing everything, one day I'm at a guy's place and I'm looking at the real estate ads here in Costa Rica, and the owner of the property says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for my next place." And he started laughing and said, "How are you going to get another place? You have nothing. You've lost everything you owned. You have nothing. You have no money. How are you going to get another place?" And I said, "I don't know, but I am." Okay. And I'm going to manifest this project. We're still looking to raise the money, and if you'd like to invest, I mean, trust me, I am very clear. I'm committed to it. That means it's going to happen. So if you want to get involved, there's no risk, because it's good. I mean, of course, there's some risks, anything, but it's going to happen. Unless I die trying, it's happening. I'm not giving up on it. Okay, I'm investing everything I can. I've already invested everything I had, and now we're having people buying lots, getting involved in the community. That money, what we don't need for that part of the project, will help us make the rest of it happen. It's happening for sure. And if you want to be part of something amazing and magnificent, where we can live as I live here in paradise, okay, in nature, ensconced in nature, with beautiful gardens and orchards and tons of fruit trees. I mean, we're not producing tons of fruit yet, but we will be in a year or two. We're producing more all the time. I mean, we now have, for the first time, more avocados than we can eat. Okay, we've got 4 trees bearing fruit right now. Not so much. One of them is not so much. The others are a fair amount, and more coming. Okay, it's going to be the same with mangoes and papayas, and I mean everything. There's no limit to what we can create. Okay, and that's the message. That's the message there. So I'm going to back up, because I think I might have missed another super chat. Thank you again. I love those love songs, I think it was. Let's see. This is, why is it so hard? It's the light here today. Let me see if I can shift. There we go. Brighten up my screen a little bit. That's much better. Why didn't I think of that? I'm such an idiot when it comes to technology. It's amazing, really, that I'm as accomplished as I am in some areas, and it's like some areas I'm just such a moron sometimes. Okay, so this is Eke Cristo, who says, "Hi, Loren from Italy," and makes a €3 donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. I really do. I really appreciate that. Okay, Sherry makes a $3.99 donation. That's dollars. And Sherry is a regular contributor. Sherry, I very much appreciate your willingness to show up every week and help make it possible for me to be here and do this. Sherry says, "Thanks for your email on cooked food cravings." You're very, very welcome. I'm happy to help if I can. So you're very welcome. All right, let's see. Those Love Songs says, awesome, says, "I will definitely," by the way, made another $15 donation. Thank you so much. And says, "I will definitely make it to Costa Rica within the next year to fast." Thank you so much. You are very, very welcome. And please never forget, okay? There's an old saying you might have heard before. It became famous when Trump's daughter, is that Ivanka? No, I forget what her name is. Trump's daughter said this or used this quote, but I've been sharing this for years. It says, "Those who say something can't be done shouldn't interrupt those who are doing it." Okay? You can do anything. I know you can. I believe in you. I know how powerful you are. Okay? I truly believe that everyone is gifted, that everyone has genius in some area. Now, I believe that I'm incredibly fortunate, because I figured out where my genius is, and I've been able to spend most of my life, now most of my adult life anyway, working, doing something I'm actually passionate about, rather than working to pay the bills and hating work and coming home and wishing I could be doing something else. That's not my life. My life is I get out of bed and go, okay, I get to speak to clients now. I get to coach people through an amazing process. I get to help people create exactly what they choose to create in life. And I couldn't have a better job. It's not even a job. It's like a dream come true. You can do exactly the same thing. And the starting point is you've got to get your health back. You cannot function as well as possible. You can't access your genius if your body is not working the way it needs to. It's critically important, okay? But everybody has the ability to manifest miracles. Everyone does. Don't ever forget that. And anyone who says to you, anyone who says you can't, anything you can't do, those are people you can uninvite from participating in your life on an active basis. Okay, you don't have to excommunicate them, but why have no interest in spending my time with people like that? Now, it doesn't matter if they're my close family. It doesn't make any, or old friends. It doesn't matter. You know what? We change and we grow, and sometimes we outgrow people. And the idea of the community part of what we're creating here, this intentional community, is that we create the family that maybe we weren't born into. We create a family of people who actually love each other unconditionally, who actually help support each other in manifesting what we're capable of. Instead of being surrounded by people going, oh, what are you doing? That's about it. That's stupid. Why would you do that? You're hurting yourself, or you can't do that. You should get a job that pays well. No, do what you're passionate about and find a way to serve what the world needs is people who are passionate about what they're doing. Imagine if everyone in the world was turned on because they were doing something they actually love doing. How different a world would we live in? Okay? How different a world would we live in? Now, I'm going to take the rest of the super chats, and then I've got some things I'm going to share, and I'm going to offer my typical apologies if you have made comments here without a super chat. I mean, the policy is super chats get immediate attention because I want to make sure I get to them. If I have time, I'll go back and deal with the other questions. Usually what happens is we run out of time. So honestly, if you want to be sure to be seen, then you might want to do a super chat, because that's the way you can know that I'm going to get to your message, because I will get to your message for sure. Okay? All right. So we have, let's see here. Lisa Green says, do you have a mantra you use to get in the zone pre-fast? I don't. Lisa, it's a great question. And Lisa has made a Australian donation of $2, two Australian dollar donation. Lisa, I don't have a particular mantra that I use. Frankly, I love fasting. It feels great. It doesn't feel bad at all. My body isn't toxic, and so I don't have the uncomfortable symptoms that a lot of people have, that the weakness and tiredness and sickness that people feel happens not because of the lack of food, but because the lack of food allows the body to detoxify, right? I would say, and you probably knew if you've been following me that I'm going to say this, is that if you're planning on fasting, you should have experienced guidance. It makes all the difference in the world. Let me guide you through the process. I can do it via Skype. There's a payment plan available. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It's amazing what happens when you do this correctly. Okay, it makes all the difference in the world. It really does. It's huge, the difference of what happens. Right now I'm working with a couple of people trying to help people who fasted on their own and have created problems for themselves. Okay, you do not want to follow in their footsteps. All right, but I don't have a particular mantra. For me, it's as easy as, okay, I'm going to fast now, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm in the zone, because it's really just about staying present to what's happening in my body. I'm usually fasting to heal an injury, because I still play hard. There's sometimes injuries. Pretty much every year, there seems like there's something that I could work on. So anyway, I hope that helps you. Stephanie, how are you? Stephanie, another a regular here on my live broadcasts, who virtually always makes a contribution and who is a part of our community. Will be joining us at some point after retirement in a few more years. Stephanie says, good morning, Loren. I hope you are well. Are you going to advertise the Tanglewood Fruit Fest for 2021 soon? I hope you are well. Much love and hugs. Thank you so much. We are working on getting that all together and up on our website very soon. We're going to pay attention, because we're going to be offering discounts. The best price is going to be as soon as it goes up, and then the price will go up subsequently every month or so. So we are going to be doing that very soon. I'll let you know. I'll announce here on a live broadcast as soon as that's ready. Hopefully, I'm actually waiting, because we're working with a retreat right afterward. I want to make sure that we have it all organized so we can offer a package with the whole thing. That's the only thing holding us up. So hopefully we'll get all that together and get that worked out very soon. And I'll be able to share the details of that and let you know that it's up, so you can go ahead and get yourself registered at the lowest price possible, which I think is what you're planning to do. I think that's what's happening. Just a quick word while I've got Stephanie with me right now, just to let you know, and for anybody else interested, I just did a site walk with an architect and an engineer. We're moving forward on getting that site plan done. It's going to take a little while. It's complicated because of the topography. It's not going to be an easy thing to get done, but we're working on that and working now on, hopefully in the next weeks, acquiring the piece of land on the other side of the river. So we've already got the one. I mean, we have contracts, but we're actually hoping to make that purchase. It's a relatively small piece. And if we can negotiate terms that make it possible to purchase now, it means we can start building there as well, or maybe even first on that side. I'm not sure. The other side will be easier because it's more flat and it's beautiful land. I mean, spectacularly beautiful. So I'm thinking we may go there. For anybody listening that is not ready to commit to a 100% raw vegan lifestyle, I'm also thinking now about I think we have enough land there that we could create two communities. Legally it'll be the same community because it'll be the same green condominium, the designation here for a community, but it'll actually be two separate communities. One over here and one over here with some distance between. That's because these folks over here might be cooking and we over here don't want to smell that. Okay, but there's going to be enough distance to, I think, to make that happen. So we'll again, I'll be letting you know as soon as we have more information on that. And let me scroll down because I know there's at least one more super chat here. Brandon, hey Brandon, how are you, man? Good to see you. Brandon has made, I think you skipped 3 questions above. Thank you so much. That's a $1.99 piece of advice. I understand he wanted to make sure I didn't miss that. So there's Lisa's. I saw that one. I saw the I will definitely make it to Costa Rica. I saw the I thank you for your email. I saw the hi from Italy. And your videos have been stock full of information. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. No wonder Brandon knew because they were his. They were his. And Brandon, very generous. Brandon has made 3 separate donations here, one right after the other. I'm not sure what happened, how I missed those. They're at the very beginning. I guess what happened was by the time I showed up here 2 minutes late, the scroll was already down and I didn't even realize that there was more up above. So thank you so much for pointing it out, Brandon. Very, very generous today. I appreciate that. If I'm totaling it correctly, we're at $27 of donations with these 3, the 3 here and the one below. So Brandon says, first of all, good morning, Loren. Happy Friday to all. Is organic clothing necessary? Obviously, it would be the best choice, but how bad is it to wear normal clothing for our overall health? Should we be concerned? No, for the most part, for your health, you don't have to be so concerned about non-organic clothing. Now, Brandon is probably asking this because having spent some time here with me, he is aware that almost everything I own is organic. This is organic cotton, my t-shirt. I appear usually in t-shirts these days, but even all the button-down shirts, I mean, almost every single piece of clothing, there's a few exceptions. I'm actually wearing a bathing suit today that I picked up at a local shop, not organic. And what happened was I'd gone to town to run some errands, got completely soaked. I was riding a quadricycle. It's a 4-wheel motorcycle, basically. And showed up in the city completely drenched and went and bought this bathing suit. I just wanted some cheap clothes that I could wear instead of walking around in sopping wet clothing. And so I wound up buying a bathing suit and a very inexpensive t-shirt that I own, which are not organic cotton. I have a few things here and there. I also have some things I bought secondhand, but most of what I own is organic. And it's not so much about your health, although new clothing that's been treated with chemicals, you probably, and which is most new clothing, most non-organic clothing is going to be treated with all kinds of chemicals. And so usually, and so what you probably want to do is wash that clothing. I apologize, I'm bumping into the table. Wash the clothing at least a couple of times before you wear it. Okay, so you're not absorbing those chemicals into your body, and make sure you wash them with non-detergent or an organic, biodegradable, safe product. Okay, there's many of them. Brandon's in the U.S. You can buy 7th generation, and I don't remember the other brands, but there's quite a few of them. Anything like Whole Foods will have them. You can buy them online through Gaiam and other sources. You might even find them in some regular grocery stores. I don't know, or supermarkets. But certainly these are products you can buy at specialty shops like organic markets, etc. Will have these products. Makes a big difference. The primary reason that all of my clothing is organic, and it has been now. I was turned on. I like to give credit where credit's due. I had a girlfriend many years ago who had a business, still has a business called Herbal Animals. Some of you probably know the product. I don't know what else she's doing. I haven't talked to her for a couple of years now, but she started out when we were together, and this would have been 28 years ago. She started this, making little eye pillows that you put on your eyes to help you relax, give you darkness. They were organic cotton filled with organic flaxseed and herbs. Lavender and peppermint was one of them. The other one was, I forget. She had a couple different blends. And they started out in the shape of a sheep, and then she wound up making other models. And we had people collect them because they were just cute. They didn't even necessarily use them as eye pillows. They just looked like little tiny stuffed animals. I mean, not so tiny, this big. But she was the one that really educated me about the importance of organic fabrics. Cotton, regular conventional cotton, which is used in so many clothes now, so many things in general, uses something like 20% of the planet's pesticides. And pesticides wind up poisoning the streams and rivers and eventually lakes and oceans and et cetera. And so we want to keep these nasty toxic chemicals out of the environment. If you're buying conventional clothing, you're contributing to the destruction of the environment. Okay, and that's why I don't buy organic clothing. Now, one of the things I've shared with people, many times I share with clients, many years ago, organic cotton clothing can be expensive, and I don't take a salary. I don't have a lot of money. The company buys me what I need, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on clothing for myself, and I typically don't. So most of what I buy on eBay. Okay, I do buy when I'm traveling. I'll go to shops that have the stuff I want and organic cotton stuff. I'm Patagonia, for instance, committed to organic cotton 30 years ago or more. And so, it's a big company. They make a lot of stuff. They start out with outerwear, and now they make all kinds of clothing, and they use a lot of organic cotton. And so, and I know I know what size I wear with their pants and their shorts and their shirts. And so I can buy it online. I don't have to try it on because it always fits the same way pretty much. And I can get things much less expensive that way. Sometimes secondhand, sometimes they're brand new, but people they have stuff they want to get rid of, whatever it is. It's a great way to shop. If you haven't tried it, you might want to take a look. You might be surprised. Now, if you're the type of person that feels like you have to try everything on first, I understand. For some things that's going to work better. Again, it works for me because I know the company and know their sizes. Okay, I know what works for me. But anyway, let's move on to the second question. Brandon has made another donation and said, how should we prepare for flights when traveling, especially while being inside the plane? How can we take good precautions? Would it be ideal to fast the entire time, open the air vent on high, etc.? Well, I don't know that it makes so much difference how open the air vent is. The air is air conditioned, and so the more open it is, the cooler you're going to be in most cases. You may or may not want that. And it's the same air anyway. It's not like you're taking in air from outside by opening it more. They're recirculating air inside the plane, and air inside the plane is not that great. Airplanes tend to be fairly dry environments, so they're dehydrating for most people. One of the things that you want to do, hopefully, the fact that you're here means you're probably interested in your health, if not completely committed to optimizing it. Certainly you want to eat as well as possible before, and during, and after, and always, but while traveling, right? So to stay hydrated, you have to eat food that's high in water content. You can't drink enough water if you're eating dry food to get hydrated or stay hydrated. It doesn't work. It's not really possible. Okay, we've measured hydration now for 14 years. I've measured more than 5,000 people. We see what works. We see how people get hydrated when they go through the process and how that changes when they make different choices. We actually see the evidence here, with many, I mean, thousands of data points now. So, you sip water throughout the ride on the flight when you're not sleeping. You eat only things that are high in water content. Now, I've never been prevented from carrying fruit onto a flight. I don't always carry fruit onto a flight, depending on where I'm going and the timing. I mean, I normally only eat twice a day. So if I'm traveling early in the morning, and I'm going to be landing before I would eat, and I know I can get food where I'm going, I mean, why would I carry food with me? You can't take food off of the plane in most cases. So what you carry onto the plane, you have to eat on the plane. So I won't be carrying food or fruit onto a flight if I'm not going to be eating it on the flight. So, again, if I'm flying at 10 o'clock at night and landing at midnight or 2 in the morning somewhere, I don't need to bring any food with me because I wouldn't be eating then anyway. I'm going to get on the plane and close my eyes and sleep if I can. My legs are too long to sleep very comfortably in most airplanes, so I may wind up watching the movies or whatever it is, or just resting with my eyes closed. But in that situation, I would be sipping water if I'm awake, and otherwise, I mean, there's not really too much else you need to do. That's really the key thing, is hydration, I think, and just making sure you're rested as much as possible, which is always the case, right? That's not really different. Let's look at the last question here. Do you think chewing is an issue in today's society? I always hear chew your food until liquid. Is this accurate? Well, yeah. I mean, ideally, we should be chewing our food to the point that we've completely masticated it. So there's really no pieces left. That's what they mean, chew it till it's liquid. You've liquefied the food in your mouth. A man named Horace Fletcher, over 100 years ago, was the first one to make this public. I mean, at least he got credit for making this public. And so chewing this way is called Fletcherizing because of its, he was the guy. It definitely allows your body to digest it much better when you mechanically break it up as much as possible first. Okay, now the difference, you can do that in a blender, can't you? Well, the difference is when you do that in the blender, you take foods that have been blended first. What do you tend to do? What I tend to do, what most people I think tend to do, is swallow the food whole without any further chewing, right? We're not going to take it from the blender and put it in our mouth and it's already liquid and then chew it up. I mean, it's suggested we do that, but that's difficult to do. That people say, you should chew your juices. I personally feel like an idiot trying to chew a liquid. It just doesn't work, right? But so when you break it up this way, you masticate it in the blender, it's oxidizing and you're losing value. And some nutrients oxidize faster than others. And this is why juices and smoothies are always far inferior to whole foods. So I'll have them occasionally, but I live on solid whole food day in and day out. Okay, that's the way to eat. That's what's always going to be best. And that's what's going to, I guarantee you, get you the best results. I'll guarantee you, if you put your blender and your juicer away and just eat perfect foods and juice and blend nothing, you'll do much better than if you don't do that. And I know that because I've had probably 500 clients tell me they got much better results and felt and functioned much better once they stopped using the machines, at least regularly. Again, it's one thing to have an occasional juice or smoothie. That's okay. But you don't want to be doing that on a consistent basis because whole foods are always, always, always best. Okay? Always best. I hope that's clear. I'm just seeing here that we're about to run out of battery. I'm on a laptop here. So let me plug that in while I'm thinking about that. Okay, and I see we have another super chat. So Brandon, again, thank you so much for your generous contributions. I appreciate that. I hope this helps you understand these questions. If not, feel free to email me and I'll be glad to fill in any blanks for you. Those love songs, oh, that's back to where we started. I forgot we're at the top again. So let me just find my way back to where we were. Okay, so that's back to Brandon's message about skipping those. Thank you so much, Brandon. Again, I really appreciate that and appreciate all your support today. Cheryl Snow has made a $10 donation and has said, "Hi, Loren, uncle that recently quit drinking, alcoholic for 15 years, wants to fast, would it be hard on his liver? What advice for him do you have? Should he take herbs to detoxify his liver first? No. Listen, I know this is going to be hard for some people to hear, and the regulars, I mean, Brandon, Stephanie, these are people that I know personally because they've spent time with me, weeks here with me, in both cases more than a month. Stephanie I've known for years and have seen her on the second time now. She was here for our food festival. So you guys already know what I'm about to say, right? Herbs are always toxic to the body, okay? Our bodies cleanse and heal themselves. Herbs don't detoxify the body. I don't care how many people peddling herbs insist otherwise. I don't care how many people who've used herbs tell you what their experience was. Herbs, like all medicinal substances which are toxic, are suppressing symptoms. Okay, people feel better because they've suppressed symptoms. They do not detoxify you. I mean, they can make your body more, they make your body, not can, they make your body more toxic. That might mean your body works harder because of that toxicity and winds up doing some cleansing, but we don't have to do that. Now, maybe the average person eating garbage whose body is overwhelmed isn't going to do anything unless they take something even more toxic like some herbs. And now the body says, okay, got to get rid of this stuff. And now there's some cleansing. But we don't need to do that, okay? Fasting is perfectly fine for someone with a fatty liver. We have fasted many people in this situation, and they're perfectly fine. The key, Cheryl, and I appreciate you may not want to hear this, your uncle may not want to hear this, but the simple fact is very few people do this very well on their own. Very few. In the last 3 days, I've consulted with 2 people who fasted on their own. Both did. They were like, well, I watched your videos. I followed. We have to actually measure your vital signs every day and then properly interpret them to understand what's happening. We have to know how to do that. Okay. You don't know how to do that. Your uncle doesn't know how to do that. He should have experienced guidance. I would guarantee him amazing results if he's coachable and willing to do what he needs to do. But fasting without that guidance, that's dangerous. That's where people get themselves in trouble. Okay. There's a woman who fasted herself, my friend's mother, who was in the hospital yesterday and today. Okay. She's asked me for some help with refeeding after fasting 30 days on her own and making herself severely dehydrated and wound up in the hospital as a result of that. You really have to understand what's going on, what's okay and what's not, what should be happening. And you can't go on Facebook and ask people because most people on Facebook don't have a friggin' clue. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone thinks that, I fasted once, I know. Yeah, fasting once doesn't make you an expert, okay? It's amazing to me how many people don't understand their own limitations. It's amazing to me how many people don't understand their own limitations, okay? I've built buildings myself, and yet if you want advice, I would say talk to a builder, an architect, or an engineer. I'm not an expert in that. Okay, having fasted once, I know 5 or 6 people who fasted with me once or twice and then decided now they know enough to go out there and offer their services as fasting experts to other people to supervise fast. They do not know enough. Not one of them knows enough to be out there supervising fasts. I had 2 years of training, 2 years of training after having already fasted like 40 times myself. Okay, so your uncle does not have to take herbs, and that would be a really bad idea. I would strongly encourage him to have him hire me to guide him through the process. I guarantee him amazing results. We start out with a consultation that tells him how to prepare. And then we speak every single day. He has to look at his vital signs. He's got to be able to measure his vital signs, and there's machines that do that easily these days. It's not terribly expensive. I send a spreadsheet that you complete. We can see exactly what's happening. We talk. It's an hour-long call every day. It's a group call with up to 4 people every day. People love the experience. We're actually working right now on enhancing it, on coming up with additional things that are going to make it even better for you. Information you'll be getting from me, etc. I'm not sure how soon that'll be ready, but even now, I mean, I've got people. The record is a practitioner, right? She's not a nor layperson. She's actually a health practitioner who has fasted with me 12 or 13 times. All right, that's the record via Skype. That's a record period. But anyway, I hope that helps. Again, feel free to email me if you need more information, or if you or your uncle want to talk about this. I'd be happy to help him. And you really have to know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, there's nothing better. If you don't, there may be nothing worse. Okay, you do not want to wind up in the hospital and then have to get medical care because you screwed it up. It's important that you around as I work. Love the future scholarship. Whenever that's ready, count on my support. Thank you so much, Misha. I appreciate that. I got your email. I had a crazy busy day. I had 2 more calls after we spoke, and then had to get off to the bank and run some errands in the city. And so I got back here pretty late, around 8 o'clock, had things to catch up on, and have been working ever since 5 a.m. this morning. It's now coming up on 10. So I will respond to you. No worries. Thank you so much for your generous support. I didn't say, but Misha has made a $48.99, a 49 pound sterling, British pound donation. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. And I'll look forward to seeing you again. I'll get back to you hopefully today. It's a little crazy still because I'm so far behind on messages, but hopefully I'll be able to catch up and get back to you today. And I know we'll be speaking again very soon. Okay. Thank you so much. Copper Love has made a $10 donation and says, "Hi, Loren. Thank you for your great knowledge and contribution to the health of humanity. There's an IG influencer, that's Instagram influencer, at Raw Vegan Ginger who fasted with you. And that's all I see, Copper Love. Where's the rest of your comment?" I don't see the rest of the comments. So I know Raw Vegan Ginger. I know who she is. She fasted with me. She had some difficulty afterwards. And I don't know how nicely she talks about me or fasting now. But, it's important to understand that fasting is an intense process. And it's been years since she was here, probably 5 or 6 years. So I don't remember all the details. I'd have to look at her file, whether she was getting enough water. I mean, sometimes it's just about the condition that people come in. It can be a challenging process for sure. But unfortunately, I don't know what the rest of your question is. If you want, hang on. Now I see here. Has constantly stated on her page that her fasting experience had an ill effect on her adrenals and it took her a really long time to recover. Not done. She regrets it and does not recommend water fasting. No matter whether it's supervised. Can you please speak on this? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's absurd. There's absolutely no way that fasting is harmful on the adrenals. It doesn't happen. The body is healing itself. Okay, we're all, like every species on the planet, 25 million animal species fast to heal. Every single one of them, when sick enough or badly injured, will stop eating. So as I said, I hadn't seen the rest of your question here. Yep, she had a rough time. But she didn't damage her adrenals from fasting. Her adrenals were likely already damaged and she didn't know it. Okay. I suffered from severe adrenal damage as well because I was addicted to caffeine for years. Okay. I completely exhausted myself by not getting enough sleep, making poor choices, using drugs and alcohol, and then keeping myself awake on coffee, drinking 5 to 10 cups every day. And it was only when I gave up coffee, I realized that I'd completely destroyed my adrenal glands. Now, there are lots of things that people do that stimulate the body, including overeating, eating excess protein, eating excess sugar. She's a very nice person. I'm sure she means well. She's mistaken. And I wouldn't look to her as an authority on fasting at all. Okay. I don't know what she's an authority on. I don't know her that well. But she's definitely not an authority on fasting. Okay, there's no question about it. And again, we've fasted thousands of people. Nearly every one of them would say it was the most amazing thing I ever did. Now, there's going to be a few people who say, nope, it didn't help me or it hurt me. In almost every case, they weren't aware of their initial condition, or they actually made mistakes, didn't do what they needed to do. Now, I'm not suggesting in her case she didn't do what she needed to, because I don't remember. As I said, it's I'd have to review her files. Since I worked with her, I have worked with several thousand more people, so I can't remember all the details of each case. But there's no chance that she damaged her adrenals as a result of fasting. That's simply not going to happen. Okay, I hope that's clear. Mesha has made another donation here, $9.90. Also love the idea of extending the community project to accommodate those not fully there yet. Yeah, well, so let me be clear that the first community, the intentional community that I'm talking about and have spoken about, that's a raw vegan community. There are many people who do not want to be around cooked food because it's challenging for them to get there, and so they don't want to have that around. But I know we have a lot of people that would like to participate in the project. I heard from someone who's organized events for me in her country, and she wrote to me and said, Loren, my husband and I are really interested in your project, but he's not raw vegan, and frankly, I've struggled too. And I'm not sure. I mean, we're not going to be. He won't do it if it's all only raw vegan. Well, yes, the intentional community is raw vegan, but there's going to be a second community, which is for people who eat cooked food. So you can, it's going to be vegan, but you could still eat cooked food and be a. Now, let me explain. We're not installing cameras in your home. Okay, we're not going to be peeking your windows, so you can do whatever you want to do. In the raw vegan community, there's no cooking. And it's pretty obvious when someone's cooking. You can smell that. Okay, we can't police what people do. We're not interested in that. The idea is that you join the community if you're committed to being raw vegan. Now it's a lot easier when that's what you're surrounded by, everyone there, instead of going, what are you doing? How come you're not, why are you eating only that? Why don't you have some of this? Everyone around you is going to be going, hey, awesome. This is perfect. This is the best you can do. We're going to be supporting each other. Okay, it's so much easier for most people that way. In the other community, it's vegan. So again, if you don't really want to be vegan, you shouldn't be in that community. Now, it's possible that in the future there'll be another piece entirely, which won't be an intentional community. It'll be a subdivision. It'll be a small community for people that like the idea of all the environmental aspects. We're looking to preserve as much land as we can. In order for that to happen, we need economic engines to purchase the land. Unless someone steps up and says, look, here's $25 million, right? Buy all the land you want and preserve it. We need to find a way to create income. One way is to sell lots and houses to people who may not want to be in an intentional community or vegan or raw, but they want to be part. They want to be involved in the project. They want to live next to or even maybe surrounded by the nature preserve. That'd be pretty cool with all the cool things we've got going on there, right? With thousands of varieties of fruit growing on site, with an amazing botanical garden, with all kinds of adventure activities, a mountain bike park, rock climbing, bouldering, canopy tours, the whole permaculture experience. They'll be ongoing. There'll be a retreat center. So people who live nearby, they can come for the classes and go home. They only have to pay for the education, not the lodging, because they live, 10 minutes away. Fantastic. Okay. People interested in that sort of thing. So there'll be that component as well, but that will be a little bit further down the road because the land we have now won't accommodate that. That's going to be on another piece a little further away. The plan, if we can continue to raise money, we're going to continue working on that. If you're here today and you're in a position to invest significant sums of money in, $50,000, $100,000 or more, this next phase of the project is going to be about $2.5 million. If you want to write that check, I would love to talk to you, and we'll clear my schedule to do it today. There's some interesting returns here because we're creating something that I think is it's going to be a win for everyone. It's a win for the environment. It's a win for the local community who has jobs created and tax revenue to the district. And the investors are going to see some interesting returns because we're creating a world-class destination location that will attract a lot of tourists. No question. Remember, if for those of you that haven't heard this before, we have the highest waterfall in Costa Rica. They say the highest in Central America, but it's definitely the highest in Costa Rica, and about 15 more as part of the nature preserve. I don't think we're going to have any trouble. And most people who come to Costa Rica as tourists come for nature. We're not going to have any trouble attracting people with that kind of situation. Okay. And everything we do, we do quality. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's going to be, people are going to really enjoy the experience. So, okay. Thanks again, Misha, for the additional 10 pound donation. Power Drummer has made a $10 donation. Power Drummer says, Loren, can broccoli sprouts be part of an optimal raw diet? Can sprouted lentils be part of an optimal raw diet? It's a good question, because while many people think these are wonderful, perfect foods, I personally don't agree. I think it's okay to eat some broccoli sprouts, as well as many other sprouts. The lentils, unless you wait for them to turn into a little green plant completely. If you still, so I have a friend that sprouts lentils. I don't know if he still does. He used to produce sprouted lentils and another, I forget which other beans. And they're really starchy and high in protein and starch, which makes them hard to digest together. They're not so ideal at all. If you let them become a little green plant, it's okay. Now, I did a video several years ago on sprouts, and if I remember correctly, scrolling up on the screen, there's a little chart, and you can stop the video, that tells you, with not everything, but with certain sprouts, eat these before they're X number of days old. Eat these up until they're X amount of time, because what happens is, remember, most plants want to survive, and they make themselves toxic. Most plants on the planet are toxic. We can't eat them. Sprouts are usually toxic at some stage of their life, and you need to know when that is to be safe. Okay, so I think what I would say, can I call you by your first name? I'm not sure if you want me to do that. So I'll just say Power Drummer. What I would say is, you can definitely eat some sprouts on an occasional basis. What we've seen is people who have come from these places that focus on sprout heavy diets. These are based on the Ann Wigmore ideas. Ann Wigmore, by the way, never said sprouts were the optimal food. What she said, as far as I know, what she did say, though, was, here's something that everyone can produce at home on their kitchen counter. So it's a way that anybody can have fresh, living, raw food, and it's cheap, because you can buy a huge bag of beans, of all different kinds of beans, and make sprouts with, in a jar on your kitchen counter. It's really pennies for the food that you're getting. Probably less expensive than anything else. Now, I believe it's also far less optimal than fruit. Okay, fruit is our optimal diet, but if you want to include some sprouts in there, no problem. You can certainly do that. Okay, there's no problem with that at all. Yeah. If you love sprouts, by the way, one of the things that's occurred to me is, hey, it would be great to have a community member who likes sprouting, who could grow all kinds of sprouts and sell them locally to tourists and anyone else interested, to anyone that's interested in buying them. One more offering and another way for someone to support themselves. So that's a real possibility. You could create a little greenhouse, and if you wanted, where you could have tons of sprouts, make it a little commercial operation, whatever size you wanted. I think there's a very real possibility there for somebody. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. I see we're down to just a few minutes, so let me scroll down, because I'm pretty sure there's at least one more super chat here that I saw come in. Itak himself has made a €10 donation. Itak, I don't see a question associated with that. I hope I haven't missed it somewhere. That's what I'm seeing. Now, I'm also not seeing, yeah, it looks like that's the bottom. Looks like I'm at the bottom here, so I'm not seeing anything else. I hate to miss anybody. I hope, please let me know. I'll look at the bottom of the screen. I can't read all the comments in the time we have now. There's just too many of them. While I've got your attention, I see we have 90, 94, 95 people here. If you have enjoyed this so far, if you think this is beneficial and valuable and you haven't already given it a thumbs up, please do. That would be helpful. If you think it sucks and you hate me, then don't give it a thumbs up. That's okay too. If you think this is really important information for people, maybe you'll consider sharing this on your Facebook page or on your YouTube channel, wherever you'd like. I had intended to talk about some other things today. It looks like we're almost out of time now, so we're not going to be able to do too much of that. In the few minutes we have left, maybe what I'll do, assuming there's no other super chats that come in these next couple of minutes, what I'll share with you is just a little piece of what I had intended to talk about. A couple things. It is so important. There are some people that may not want to share this video because they don't want the people they know to think that they're strange, that they believe this crazy person who's saying all these things that most people would say, what are you talking about, right? And the same is true. Ian T has made a £5 donation. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. Again, I don't see a question associated with it. If you don't know how to ask your question, you can do it just below and I'll look for that. But if that doesn't come in, because I have another call in just a couple minutes, I'm going to have to end this right at 10 o'clock my time, which is coming up soon. So if I don't see that question now, then I'll just roll on. Okay. So, yeah, what I was going to talk about, the fact that some people may not want to share this because they don't want other people to think they're strange. Some people may not want to get into conversations about the truth. Those of you that understand that this whole thing is planned. Thank you very much. Those love songs says, thank you for being strange, and made another $10 donation. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome. Honestly, it's interesting. Years ago, when I moved to Central America, I was the first year I had a girlfriend who lived with me, and from North America, and then she moved back to North America. We broke up, and she needed to complete some things. She came down to visit and then wound up staying for a year, and that wasn't the plan. She had to get back and complete some things and get rid of her apartment, etc. And, things happened, as they sometimes do, and she never came back, and now is married and happy, and we're still good friends. I've seen her a couple times since. But I was single. I've been single many of the years that I've been 15 years in Central America. The people here in Costa Rica are beautiful people, friendly, and just really, really lovely people. And sometimes the consciousness is very different. There's not much consciousness of vegetarianism here. The raw vegan diet, there's not many people open to that here. And so I've got lovely people here, but I'm not so likely to find a partner, a long-term partner here. And I'm very open to that, by the way. But it's not likely to be a local person. So, but I'm always telling people, I'm just realizing I'm going to cut to the chase because I'm about to be late and don't want to be late for my next call. Don't worry about people thinking you're strange. Okay. I started to say, I got onto a dating site, and it was interesting because many of the women would say, I'm a normal woman. And I'm thinking, oh, that's too bad. Next, right? Who wants normal, right? Normal people are walking around half asleep and mostly dead, and it's getting worse, not better. Okay. People need to wake up. They need to increase their level of consciousness. They need to take care of their health. I'm not interested in being with somebody who's not at a similar place in terms of consciousness. So yeah, I'm only interested in strange people. And I would say, be strange, be yourself. Be yourself. I may have shared this before. One of my favorite poems in the world is a poem called Masks. And it goes like this. Let's see if I can remember it. It's a short one. It goes, he had blue skin, and so did she. She kept it hid, and so did he. Their whole lives through, they searched for blue, then passed right by and never knew. Okay, so, if you're pretending to fit in, if you're pretending to be something you're not, how are you going to attract the people who would actually resonate with who you are? It's funny, people show up here, often having watched my YouTube videos. Most people find me now through YouTube and then wind up coming here. And they'll often say, wow, you're just like in your videos. Oh yeah, I believe in transparency. I'm completely honest. And what you see is who I am. Sometimes I'm an ass. Sometimes you're not going to like what I say. Sometimes some people don't like me. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I really am. Okay, you can't live your life to make other people happy. You have to be yourself. Live your life. Be who you really are. Do what really turns you on. I mean, as long as you're not helping anyone else, hurting anyone else, excuse me. Okay, if what you really like doing is hurting people, that's not okay. But why would you worry about this? Those of you here that are younger, and some of you are probably considerably younger than me, right? There are people here that are less than half my age. Some of you might be a third or a fourth of my age. Probably not that many a fourth of my age. That would make you, what, 15-ish. There are probably not so many 15-year-olds here. But if you're much younger than me, one of the things that you're going to be shocked to discover later in life is that it went much faster than you ever thought it would. Much faster than you ever thought. Like the last thing I remember, I was 18. Okay, and I turned 59. I have to think about that. I turned 59, 2.5, almost 3. Tomorrow's 3 weeks ago. I turned 59. Okay, I was like, where'd the last 40 years go? Oh yeah, I mean, I've been like super busy doing things I'm completely passionate about, but it goes quickly. Don't waste your time pretending to be what you're not. Don't waste your time in relationships that don't work for you. Don't waste your time doing work that doesn't feed your soul. Why would you do that? Okay, don't do that. Life is too short for that. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that's clear. And everything else I wanted to say about what's going on today, I'll tell you, I'm going to look at my calendar real quickly. And I think what I'm going to do is so I have my normal 9 o'clock live in Spanish tomorrow. And then I have an appointment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan on going live again in English at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'm going to be back and I'm going to talk about what's going on with this whole CV thing, this whole planned thing, and some of that stuff. Okay? So if you're free tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock my time, come on back. If not, of course, it's always on YouTube. This is recorded. You can always go back and find it. Again, I'm going to get off now. I'm already a couple minutes late. I had not intended not to do that. Now I'm late. If you haven't given it a thumbs up and believe it deserves one, please give it one now. And please feel free to share this if you believe this needs to be shared. But, the one last thing I want to say quickly, I'll say this again tomorrow. Share your truth, speak your truth, especially about what's going on. People have to wake up because there's a significant chance if we don't wake up and speak up that we're going to lose our freedom. That's what this is all about. Okay. I'm completely convinced. Call me what you want. This is what's going on. And the evidence is there. It's clear. Okay. It's clear. We're going to talk more about this tomorrow. Come on back. I'll see you then. Bye-bye. I hope you have a great week. If I don't see you, I'll see you next week. But come on back tomorrow if you can. Take care.